Hello, chat. Chat, we're live. Here we go. There we go. Listen, everybody. It has been a hot minute since we last streamed, so I thought, why not come on and stream? I don't know how many views this stream will get. Yo, Cheddar Chucky, what's good? Welcome to stream. I don't know how many views this stream will get, how many views we will get on the stream, but this is kind of something I want to talk. Just this is kind of a stream of, I guess, importance a bit. Why is wait? Don't tell me. Oh, okay, good. This is sort of a stream of importance that I kind of need to do because I don't know. Listen, since we last streamed, a lot of stuff has happened. I went to Orlando and I saw some Chuck E. Cheese's. I went to Halloween Horror Nights and I saw and I visited the FNAF thing, the FNAF haunted house. Which, if you're wondering why I don't have a video up on my channel of me at the haunted house, it's because we weren't allowed to film. I had literally um I had literally deleted no I deleted stuff on my phone a few hours before I actually went to the haunted house to free up some space so I could record a good video for that. But it was kind of all for nothing because I couldn't film anything, which really sucked. But what can you do? I do have I do have audio though. I do have audio. I put my phone in my pocket and I just recorded audio. So I have my reaction to my audio reactions to like me seeing the animatronics for the first time and just me going for an house. Also, 5 views, pretty good. I'm really happy about that. So thank you. However, this has been a stream that I've been kind of just tossing around for a while, and I wanted to do this like a few days ago, and I wanted to stream like immediately after I got back from Orlando. Also, hello Tuxedo Chuck 1990 Legacy. Welcome to stream. Like I was saying, ultimately this is kind of a stream that needed to happen. Um, I think at this point, I think it will be finally time after about 1 year of having this kind of be the channel. I think it's finally time to switch the channel back to Odin's Movie Magic. And I know that that might raise some questions and stuff, but um I don't know if any of you, I know some of you, but my views have been dipping. Most importantly, on my Chuck E. Cheese Store twos because that's like my main content. That's the content I put probably the most amount of time into. Because I mean it's not every day you can go to Florida and record some Chuck E. Cheese Store twos. No, it's not every day you can go to South Carolina and film some store tours. That doesn't just happen every day. What I'm trying to say is that my store tours are dipping in views pretty significantly. Um, and I think this is just for one because my channel in general is just kind of dipping in sort of viewership and not necessarily subscribers is still doing fine in that regard, but um um but other than that, I mean it's been more of like views and I think one of the biggest things is that Chuck E. Cheese as a like I want to say it's just kind of falling apart. I don't think a lot of people are really watching Chuck E. Cheese still too as much anymore. I mean, they still do. You know, you got Seth Sheets and Eats. You know, I still watch him when he posts a CC still too or whatnot. Because I am still interested in Chuck E. Cheese, but it's still like it's just not as in full effect as it was, last year when we still had a bunch of stores left, and I feel like the fandom, the community was, a lot more, you know, even though we were losing stages, you um, even though, you know, we, I'm kind of stumbling on my words if you can kind of tell, but because it's just been a lot of thought, kind of just a lot of think about this and where to go. But um, Chuck E. Cheese, to put it kind of bluntly, it is dying. It's dying. I think that's the right word. Maybe it's dying. Like 2.0, it's happened. I still, like I said, I still love Chuck E. Cheese like quite a bit, but with the fact that seeing stages aren't as easily accessible to see than I would wish they would be. Obviously to Springfield, but I've only been to Springfield twice this year because just life's changing, you know, and all that. Um, so that's one of the reasons. I you know, I mean that's more of like the big reason because obviously my name is CEC Missouri Chuck E. Cheese Missouri. Chuck E. Cheese is Missouri. Um, um, so, um, anyway, Jerry Chucky put something here. Hey, you could do some, you could do some more variety content for a change, and maybe that would bring your views back up. Of your views back up. I mean, that's the thing. I'm still kind of already doing that. Um, like this quite a bit of videos. Like besides these Chuck E. Cheese videos, there's still like unlisted videos and piloted videos that are non Chuck E. Cheese related. Because at a time there probably there was more just videos like this, you know like this, like my dream scale, and you know reaction videos, all that, and gaming videos. Then there was Chuck E. Cheese videos. Now Chuck E. Cheese videos. Like if you see my playlists and stuff, like I have made so many Chuck E. Cheese videos. It's insane. Again, you could do other content away from CC that could help your channel if you're hearing me out. Maybe change your name back to Ozzy. Well, that one, well, that's basically what the stream's about. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Um, the I also want to make this clear that whether I change my name back to Odin's Movie Magic or to a different name, the Chuck E. Cheese videos will never necessarily stop, but it will lessen a bit. Um, I guess it just it's hard to explain. Because just Chuck E. Cheese is it's it's dying. It's dying. And I feel like more people might be leaving the fandom. You know, I've had the pleasure of saving stuff from St. Cloud, Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm grateful for that. And now I own some of the Chuck E. Cheese DVDs, which I haven't really talked about, but I do own some. I own the Chuck E. Cheese show, which is from summer 2014, and I own Chuck E. Cheese's Holiday Party 2010. I own those two DVDs. And I technically will be owning another one. I just won't be getting that until my birthday, which is in uh it's like shucks. I think yeah, it's like 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. Um, which I'll be I'll be what 17. I am not as enthusiastic about the community as I was before myself. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't really like. It's not that I don't still enjoy Chuck E. Cheese. It's just like some days I get like this like jolt, like and I want to say jolt. I want to emphasize jolt of passion, and then the next day I can feel just kind of like it's just kind of you know. Um, I don't know why, but sometimes I'm just kind of like, hey, Chuck E. Cheese, and you know, and then some days I just I'm like, oh man, well, the stages are, most of the stages are gone, and it just it it kind of just like um it drains all the stuff out of you. At least that's for me, you know. Which is like stuff like Finance at Freddy's is I'm still very much into that. Man, why am I exaggerating? Like I'm going very like I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to exaggerate them. I don't know. But like stuff like Finance at Freddy's is something where I've been kind of in that fandom for probably probably almost about a decade. Yeah, almost a decade. Because I think I don't know. But if you did have a CEC stage near you again, what would you wish for it to be? Well, I would either want it to be, if you want me to be so honest, I'd say Studio C Alpha because that's my favorite Studio C. Or um, probably a two stage. I don't. I hate to say it, but I don't know. I like three stages. I think they're cool. But I probably would prefer seeing a two stage. But that's maybe because I haven't even gotten I haven't seen a full band of Cybernetics, which is why I wanna, eventually one day, see a like go to Northridge or um what's it called? Hicksville, you know? You know? Um but yeah. But yeah. I'm still thinking on how I wanna execute all this because I think it's time to basically, say goodbye to CEC Missouri. You know, um, people can still call me CEC Missouri if they, want to. You know, it's not like I won't be still kind of a Chuck E. Cheese channel, but like you said, I would be, more of a variety channel, which has been a part of me that I've always enjoyed being. But as I also think about it a bit more, also before I get to that, let me leave you going. I've always been. I've always liked the free stages. The only thing is that they're not original CEC bots, unlike the Cybers Studio C. Yeah, I agree. I think that's kind of how I feel. Um, I think another thing, which I don't want to be like, well, I don't want to sound like CEC stages. If you know who CEC stages is, but I'm slowly losing kind of interest in. I mean, not necessarily Chuck E. Cheese. I mean a little, but I'd say probably just YouTube. I want to emphasize that, or just make it known that I've been doing Odin's Movie Magic for 5 years now, which I didn't think. If you asked me 5 years ago if I would still be doing Odin's Movie Magic, I would have probably said, sure, you know. But it's just a lot of time I'm lazy, and it's just I don't know. Some days I just don't have I don't have the energy. Um, like I'd like to do gaming videos, like maybe bring back kind of like that fanatic, like do more live streams, like we were doing some cool live streams this summer. And it kind of abruptly starts because I had like some vacations and stuff like that, but we made some really cool milestones this summer with me beating like FNAF games and challenges and those fun streams, and I want to continue to do that because you know that's fun. And it also brings up the question on is streaming on YouTube the right option? I mean, YouTube is very accessible for people because not only can they watch me on YouTube, um, but they can also watch me live on YouTube, to interact with me, talk to me in the chat, and, you know, see me beyond what I make in my videos. But, um, maybe Twitch could be an option. Like that, that's just an idea, Um, I don't know. I don't know. It's all about experimenting with me. Like, I want to say that through the development I've worked on of Dreamskill this year, a lot of the stuff that I've worked on has been a lot of experimentation. I I've got you know into experimenting with like so many different formats of how I want to make Dreamscale. Um, you know, there's many formats. Um, what the heck? Huh? 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 But yeah, there's many different formats on all that. So, um, but yeah, it will take some planning on kind of how I wanna like I might even make like a document on just like I I I I made a document called a game design document, and I don't even know if I even finished the whole thing, but did probably like most of it. Of like a game design document on a dream scale, listing the law, how the development is, basically the Bible of every single aspect that is dream scale, because it's something I was gonna, I needed to make, and I don't like I don't even think I finished it. Like, hold on, you're gonna see the black screen because I need to look, and you obviously can't see it because that's all the personal stuff. But oh yeah, here it is. I haven't opened this since August 13th, and it hasn't been edited since August 13th. And how many pages is this? It is. Oh, it's only 6 pages. I thought it'd be a bit more, honestly. Like there's just to give you kind of like a little bit of like a little kind of like a insight. It has a concept foundation, a vision and high level overview, gameplay mechanics, story and narrative, um, listings of the characters and the role in the story and how they kind of play into it. It's some have like little descriptions, some have detailed descriptions because some are more complex characters and have a lot more details than the others. And then story structure, world and level design, art and aesthetic, and that's kind of where I stopped. Oh wait, didn't I have a concept art section? Could have sworn I did. Actually, no, I think I did, but I think I deleted it because I don't know. I don't remember. It's probably somewhere in like a another version of it. I don't really remember. Oh yeah, yeah, everything's technically still there, but I'll have to add it back in later. But it has a lot of concept art from basically um, like digital concept art of the game. Um, it's like a few pages worth of it, and there's countless there's like pages that I have that I hand drew when I was just like drawing up Dream Scale. Literally, it's kind of a cool story, but when I was first just envisioning Dream Scale, like um it like I was freshman year. This was literally 2 years ago. It was freshman year, and it was pretty much all the time that that in like the first semester of freshman year, I would be in advisory and I would just draw and just think about kind of what I wanted to do. How like I was going through so many ideas on what it was gonna be, a horror game or an adventure game or some sort of thing. And eventually, it took me like what school started in August that year. Well, it always starts in August, but started in August, and I eventually came to the idea in October. So it took about two, like almost about 2 months to figure that out. And after that, it was really just a matter of ideas, and really the story was the one thing I spent quite a bit on because I wanted to get it right, sorta. And even if the story I have is, I'd probably rewrite it because my writing has kind of changed, kind of a bit. I feel like I've gotten better over the years, like as a writer. And the script that I wrote, the final script that I am using now, I wrote in 2024. Literally, it was in March. So that script itself is gonna be like 2 years old next year, which is and the game probably won't be out until next year. I'll be honest. I've been getting questions by people on how's the progress going, and like, do you have any updates? And it's like, no, I don't really. I don't really talk about my game much. I like to talk about it, but I really don't know what to say about it because it is a bunch of stuff. It's just it's a ton of stuff. So whenever I get asked, I'm just like, yeah, 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 good, okay, good, good, yep, okay, 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 good, good, okay, yeah. Because I don't really know what to say about it, especially when I'm asked like, when's your game dropping? Like, and I'm like, I don't know, like maybe this year, you know. At this point, I'll probably release it probably by senior year. Um, just like have it as like a whole like kind of journey. Like it started in freshman year, and then it ended in senior year. The development, which that'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I'll have to see how things pan out. For all I know, it might release before the end of junior year, so I don't know. Yeah. Um, but I have hope. I have hope. I want to kind of cut down on just some stuff on the game and just I don't know. 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 At this point, I'm thinking that maybe I just shorten things up for my own convenience, and then I can just eventually add it as some stuff that I want to add as like updates. Eventual like updates. I'll fix. It'll be like a patch and add-on updates and all that cool stuff. I don't know. We'll have to see. Cause then at least I won't really have to do a ton of major stuff. I can just plop the game and call it a day. Just make things simple and call it a day really. And then as the weeks after the game comes out, I can just release like little things to add on to the chapter. So people can be excited or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that um I really, 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 really enjoyed making Dream Scale, and I really am happy that I got a team to help me bring it to life, and I don't know, it's just really cool, honestly. Um, yeah. Anyway, I think that's about everything I can really just say about just this whole live stream, really. But at the core of it all, as far as the fate of at least the name of CUC Missouri, I'll post updates. I have been also thinking about making a official Odin's Movie Magic Discord server. I technically have one that's like really old. I have one that's called OMM Studios, and it still has some people in it even after like years, and all that stuff. But I'm thinking that I can, if people really want a development server and all that, well, or not, why did I say development server? Dang. If people really want to like chat with me and all that stuff, then you know I can maybe give people something cool so they can chat with me and all that. So I guess they come to think of it. I guess they did bring teasers to. Yeah, they did bring back teasers, kind of. Hmm. Anyway, I think that's about it. Um, I'll kind of give updates soon on just how things progress with the change and everything. And yeah, but I think the future is looking up for on 3D Magic. I'm excited, for everything, and hopefully we can get back to kind of just, you know, you know what things kind of used to be. And I hope that regardless of if Chuck E. Cheese content slows down and just maybe even fades away eventually. I don't even know if it will, but if it ever does or doesn't, I hope you all just stay here with me and something else, but it's FNAF, Cuphead maybe, um, Poppy Playtime, um, Sonic the Hedgehog, um, maybe even Minecraft, anything. I hope, or like unboxings or anything else that I could possibly think of interest you, and I hope that we can make some cool stuff. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and yeah, I'll see y'all later.